the sound of belonging. The notes danced like raindrops from Mira Thompson's fingertips, tumbling off the chipped keys of the old, upright piano tucked in the corner of Brookdale Community Center. The wood was scarred, the middle C a half-tone off, and one of the pedals stuck every time she played Chopin's Nocturnes, but to Mira, it was home. At 15, she was a slender, quietly intense girl who seemed to disappear in crowds, except when she was in front of piano. Then she lit up like a firework. "That was beautiful, Mira," came a voice behind her. She jumped, startled, and turned to find Mr. Alvarez standing near the piano with a thick envelope in his hands. He was her music teacher, graying hair, kind eyes, always carrying the scent of black coffee and chalk. "Thanks, mister. Hey, I was just messing around with a new idea." "Well, that new idea may have just opened a new door." He handed her the envelope. "Westbridge Conservatory is holding an open house and showcase this weekend. They're inviting potential students. I sent in one of your recordings last month without telling you. I hope you'll forgive me. They want you to come." Mira blinked, stunned. "Westbridge? That Westbridge? The prestigious music academy where students played in international competitions and had master classes with famous pianists? I can't go there," she whispered. "They offer scholarships, mister," Alvarez said gently. "Full scholarships for talent like yours." Her mother had been listening from the hallway, still in her scrubs from the night shift to the hospital. She stepped into the room, her eyes sparkling. "Baby, if someone out there recognizes what you've got, you owe it to yourself to see it through." As Mira held the invitation to her chest that night, lying awake in their small apartment, she allowed herself to imagine it for the first time. A world where pianos weren't out of tune, where she didn't have to practice with headphones on so the neighbors wouldn't complain, where the music inside her might finally be heard. The gates of Westbridge opened like something from a dream. Mira and her mother pulled in with their dusty old Corolla, its muffler rattling as it idled between a gleaming black Range Rover and a pristine Tesla. The academy stood like a palace, stone columns, manicured gardens, and elegant arches. Mira swallowed hard and glanced down at her thrift store dress. Suddenly, everything about her felt wrong. Inside, the foyer glittered. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, gold-embossed signage. But what caught Mira's eye was the grand piano sitting on a stage in the center. It gleamed like black ice under the lights easily worth more than their apartment. A woman with a sleek bun and a clipboard approached them. "Welcome to Westbridge. Are you here as visitors or performers?" "My daughter was invited," her mom said, chin held high. The woman scanned her list. "Mira Thompson. Yes. Refer by Mr. Alvarez. Please enjoy the showcase. Refreshments are in the East Wing. Performances begin shortly." They wandered among the other families, men in suits, women in silk, kids in tailored uniforms with names like Sinclair and Vanderbilt embroidered in gold thread. Mira overheard conversations about summer music programs in Austria, private lessons with Russian virtuosos, and conservatory placement consultants. "I don't belong here," she whispered. Her mother squeezed her hand. "You belong wherever your music can be heard." The grand hall filled with guests. Mira and her mother sat near the back as student after student performed pieces by Liszt, Rachmaninoff, and Debussy. Their technique was flawless, their fingers like machines. But Mira listened with an odd detachment. "They're hitting the right notes," she murmured. "But they're not telling a story." Then came the girl everyone had been whispering about, Delaney Rhodes. Her father had donated Westbridge's new recording studio, and her playing had been featured in a documentary. With platinum blonde hair pulled back and a designer gown flowing around her, she sat at the piano like a queen on her throne. She played La Campanella with chilling perfection. Not a single wrong note. Her hands blurred across the keys. The audience gasped. Mira watched, entranced but unmoved. "She's good," Mira admitted softly. "But I didn't feel anything." After the performance, families gathered in the foyer for refreshments. Mira wandered closer to the stage, drawn toward the Steinway Grand like a moth to flame. She reached out, letting her fingers hover above the keys. "What do you think you're doing?" Delaney stood just feet away, flanked by two students. Her voice was sharp, her expression amused. I wasn't going to play, Mira said quickly. Just looking. Delaney stepped closer. This piano costs more than most houses. It's not for people who look. I play, Mira said, more firmly now. Oh, you play, Delaney echoed mockingly. Let me guess. Chopsticks on a keyboard from Walmart. Myra's face burned. Chopin, actually. Someone gasped. Mr. Alvarez had just arrived and stepped forward. She can play better than most conservatory students. Mira, show them. No, Myra's mom whispered. You don't have to prove anything. But Mira stepped forward, sat at the piano, and placed her fingers on the keys. Ballade no. One in G minor, she said. And then she began to play. The room fell silent. The notes floated out fragile, aching alive. Mira didn't just perform. She poured herself into the music. Her emotions shaped every phrase. Her lack of formal technique showed in small ways, but it didn't matter. Her storytelling, her dynamics, her soul, they filled every note. When she finished, the silence lingered, long and stunned. Then the applause began. Mr. Alvarez clapped first, then her mother, then everyone. Delaney stood motionless, expression unreadable. Mrs. Ellsworth, the academy director, stepped forward. Mira, that was extraordinary. Where did you learn to play like that? I taught myself, Mira said, mostly with online videos and ear training. You have perfect pitch, Dr. Sutton, the head of piano studies, said. Mira shrugged. I don't know what it's called. I just hear things. The room buzzed with disbelief. And awe. Mrs. Ellsworth turned to Myra's mother. We'd like to offer Mira a full scholarship to Westbridge. Tuition, housing, instrument stipend. Everything. Delaney scoffed. One piece, and she gets a scholarship. Delaney, Mrs. Ellsworth said sharply. That one piece revealed more artistry than most students develop in years. Mira joined Westbridge the next semester. Her classes were rigorous, her days long, but she soaked it up like sunlight. Theory, technique, history, she studied it all. And then came the announcement. The winter showcase would feature a duet, Mira and Delaney. No, Delaney said immediately. I always perform solo. This year's theme is harmony and contrast, Mrs. Ellsworth said, and we believe you two have something to learn from each other. Practice sessions were tense. Delaney was controlling, critical, cold. Mira was cautious, emotional, intuitive. They clashed constantly tempo, phrasing, dynamics. But slowly something changed. Myra's timing improved. Delaney's phrasing softened. They started to listen. The night of the showcase arrived. Mira wore a borrowed gown. Delaney looked ethereal in blue silk. As they sat at the same bench, their hands brushing occasionally, they shared a nod. Then the music began. It was Schubert's Fantasia in F minor, a piece written for 4 hands full of intricate weaving melodies and shifting emotions. Mira played with heart. Delaney played with elegance. Together, they created something transcendent. When the last note faded, the hall was silent. It exploded in applause. Dr. Sutton wiped his eyes. I've waited 20 years to hear students perform with that much unity. Mrs. Ellsworth stepped forward. Tonight, 2 worlds became one. Delaney turned to Mira. You played beautifully, she said, and for once, she meant it. Mira smiled. So did you. In the months that followed, Myra's talent blossomed. She earned a summer fellowship. She was invited to competitions. Her family moved into a better apartment near the academy. And slowly, she and Delaney built something like friendship, not perfect, but real. Because sometimes the most powerful music isn't what you play alone, but what you create when someone different sits beside you and plays the next note. And for Mira Thompson, the girl who wasn't supposed to touch the piano, the sound of belonging was finally hers.